Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Jimmy's Jambox on YouTube. That's right. We're on video. We're happening in real life to some degree. It's not live streamed yet, but that's coming. For those of you listening only, get on the YouTube. It's going to be a whole new experience. It's at Jimmy's Jambox, just like the Instagram. We're still going to be Monday through Friday. The music is going away. I'm so sorry, y'all. You know I love it. You know it's one of my favorite parts, but there's so many limitations that came with it, and we want to make this big. We want to grow this. So we had to make the decision to drop it, but there's going to be music coming back in a very different way. So y'all are going to want to lock in on this now, so that when that all happens towards the end of July, you're going to be ready. It's going to be huge. But as always, make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Spotify for now, but we're going to be expanding soon, so there'll be other platforms. And there's just so many cool things coming. I don't even have a proper opening bit because I want to think of something cool, but I didn't want to put this off any longer. So we're going to go ahead and get on into the interview. That's right. I've still got guests. We're still doing this. I am so excited to introduce my first video guest, the one, the only, the Qwaigmane.
Yo, what's up, people?
Hello.
Yo, what's up?
Hello,
what's up,
man.
What's up?
I'm so happy to have you. For those of you that don't know, he has so many cool things that are big and exciting, and he's going to tell you about all of them. I'm not even going to tell you about them first. I'm not going to give him like the hype intro. I'll let him introduce himself right now. Quaig, go ahead and tell us, who you are, what you did, what you're into, what you do. Give us that Tinder profile.
Hey, man, I'm Qwaigmane, the one and only. You can call me Qwaigmane. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma way. Yeah, I'm a visual artist based in Portland, Oregon. I do all sorts of different things.
Sorry, y'all. This is the making of the interview. Oh, you can't see me. Sorry, y'all. This is the making of the interview, so you're going to occasionally hear some things, do some stuff. Shit could go awry. This is not what's going to make it onto the audio version.
This is real life.
Exactly. So, sorry you got interrupted by my demon cat. Shout out to Itachi.
Dude, cats rule.
Cats, they're the best.
I'm just going to state it right here.
He's going to be a guest on episode 300, y'all, so stick around for that. But please pick up where you left off.
Yeah, so I'm a visual artist. I'm based in Portland, Oregon. I do music videos. I do lo-fi music videos on this old Sony Handycam. I use Hi8 tapes. I also do some HD stuff. I do screen printing. I sew clothes. I make bags. I have a company called Fuck Clout, FUQ Clout. Shout out YouTube. I love you, YouTube. Money is awesome.
Yeah, and we really can't have any fucking swearing on this.
Yeah, no fucking swearing at all.
It's super important.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, please don't.
So, Fuck Clout. And then I do a thing called All Noise Media, which is just like an umbrella term for all the podcasting, live footage, music videos, digital media, all sorts of different things. I do too many things, unfortunately.
Well, we know how that is here over at the Jambox, but very happy to have you. Obviously, a big part of this show is focused on the world of music and how it interacts with you. So let's get some foundation questions that are based in that, and then we'll go into more of what you do in the real world. And let's start with your very first album you ever bought with your own money.
The first album was a vinyl record in middle school. It was Pink Floyd The Wall. I got it from a pawn shop for $10.
Okay.
It actually ended up being, if I'm not mistaken, it was like a DJ copy that they played
Yep.
on the air before it came out. So eBay says it's a couple $100. I don't know how true that is. eBay lies sometimes, but it's also valid. So I don't know. It happens. So, Bad Brains was my first official one. I bought with my own money, hardworking boy, spent my money. And then after that was Black Flag, a lot of punk shit, and that just opened the door for everything to come.
Hell yeah. What was punk like the first like sound that you got into on your own?
I think so. Yeah, that's a good. You could say hip hop too, but I heard a lot of hip hop. I heard a lot of Fuji Law, Fuji's album, Fuji Law, from my uncle. My dad played Jay-Z and like Eminem, and like
whose dad didn't?
Limp Bizkit, lots of Limp Bizkit. So I heard various rap growing up, but punk I think is the first music genre that I like dove into, and I got like super into it.
Hell yeah.
And then metal came after that, but that's kind of gradual. That kind of happens, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if metal doesn't end up in your story somewhere,
yeah, what are you doing?
Like, go listen to some metal.
Something,
like,
yeah.
Like, come on. I like,
right.
Like Avenged Sevenfold's early, like stuff was quality work.
Dude, everybody's early.
I mean, that's not even really metal. Let's come correct. I mean, In Flames, I was a big fan growing up. Like, there's so many realms of things. And I know I'm gonna get flamed in my first YouTube comments for calling those metal. But you know, like just those heavier genres.
Right.
Because like before, like
it's a big umbrella term too, because it's lots of stuff.
Yeah, because like Iron Maiden could be metal, but they're like classic rock now.
They are
depending on and also like
Black
hair
Sabbath.
metal.
Hair metal.
Hair metal is very glamorous.
Yeah,
but
it's all metal.
Yeah,
there's just different degrees. It's like life. It's a spectrum.
Exactly.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was the first show you ever went to?
First show was, I'm pretty sure it was a Jason Aldean show with my mom.
Classic.
Bunch of cowboy hats and cowboy boots.
Do you yee when you honk?
I yee when I honk. I'm from the South, man. I'm from Oklahoma way. That's how it goes down.
Okay.
That's a hoedown.
Okay.
After that was a 3 days grace, 3 Doors Down show. Super random.
Please tell me there was a third band with 3 in the name.
Dude, I would like to say there was.
Because there's so much opportunity. Yeah, they would call it the triple three.
I'm guaranteed.
3 squared?
I just didn't remember the third band, but I know it was a big band.
But did they have 3 in the name?
They had to.
Was it Third Eye Blind?
Dude, 311?
Oh yeah, let's go. Okay.
I don't think it was 311. That'd be sick if it was 311.
We'll sit on this one forever.
Yeah. So Jason Aldean, it's not, nothing crazy, but
I mean, hey, everybody's got to have a first show.
Something.
I mean, I'm unfortunately lucky that my first show was Ozfest 2004.
I mean, hey, that's cool. I saw Slipknot at Mayhem Fest 2010 with Slayer, all sorts of different deathcore, death metal bands. I was really into like deathcore and death metal and just like super heavier stuff.
There's something about, I'm sure I've said this on an episode before, but it'll be the first time I say it on video. I'm going to stop doing that after this one, but it's going to happen a few times. There was somebody who was saying that there's a correlation to all styles of music and the impact and emotion that they like put on you based on their BPM, because all music is made within the general spectrum of heartbeats. So a slower song will make your heartbeat slower. A faster song will make your heartbeat faster.
Some say it's aligned to your chakras too. Yeah. Vibration and energy, man. It's all vibration and energy, and that's why you go to shows in the first place.
Yeah.
The push and pull of the show.
You know what? In that mentality, I'm going to share a thing with you, because I think you'll appreciate this. The reason why one person, I can't even remember who it is. Shout out to whoever said this. It was somebody cool and famous. They were like, the reason why tape stood out so differently is because tape is the only real form of music recording where the music, for the slightest moment, exists tangibly in the as an electric current in the moment between the tape head and the tape itself. Right. So in that blip of a moment, it actually exists. And in that time that it passes through that space, it absorbs the energy of the room, the emotion, the presence.
It has a vibe and what's happening. Right. It's the same thing with how recording on the Sony Handycams. It's like, it feels physical.
Exactly. Vibrations in the room will physically affect how it presses. There's a layer. So that's just, and
it's cool. And whenever you bring that into digital, you can kind of manipulate it in different ways because you recorded it in a physical analog way. It's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also what's kind of cool is in those realms, you can't edit it to a certain degree.
Exactly. There's limitations.
Like we were talking about how like the camera stuff now you can record everything and do all these chops, do all these changes in real time, and then just go and fix it later if you biff something.
Right.
But you press it to tape, it's pressed to tape. Like that's it. Like, you want to go and do it again? And you're not punching it in. Yeah. You're doing it again.
Yeah. And if you want to like give that to a friend, you have to go duplicate it. You have to do physical things to get a physical second part to it to give to somebody. That's there's something very special to that.
I've always been a fan of tangible media.
Me too. Physical.
Yeah,
physical
I think there's something because you like
buy gold.
Well, I mean, like having 10,000 songs on a flash drive doesn't feel as cool as having 20 CDs you love.
For sure. Or a cool little vinyl record collection.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean,
of stuff that you are really into.
Yeah. And the stuff like that's exactly how I do. I have like 130 records.
Damn.
But I have like a million more albums saved on my Spotify, saved on my like music platforms. Like,
but what happens when that goes away?
I mean, even if it doesn't go away, I like the tangible media. I try to buy from the artist's website whenever possible.
To support,
to give them money. But also, there's art. Terry said this in his shout out Terry from Music Millennium. We're gonna have to come back and do this.
Shout out Music Millennium.
Yeah. He talks about how the cover art on records was like it was a spectacle. It was a visual experience. And then you would open up the book on the inside.
Oh man.
And you would be able to read the lyrics from this far away. Like it just there was this
that turns me on, bro.
There's because I mean as a visual art person, I know you can appreciate it. Like
you can fit a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah, now like a CD
the world
cover
works on symbols too. Mm-hmm. The world works on symbolism and symbols, so you could really create something special with. And a lot of those records are special. I mean, I'm a little bit younger, so like I wasn't around in the heyday to see that, but there's a lot of good stuff there.
Actually,
it's amazing.
You were around for the first time since CDs got big. That records outsold CDs. That was the end of 2022. Last year,
we sold, right.
Yeah, last year more records than CDs were sold.
Because I remember using a CD player. I remember VHS too.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Terry tells this crazy story. Y'all need to go listen to that episode. It's so good. He tells the story about how I'm pretty sure he told it on there. He may have just we talked so long off mic. It's crazy to that I can't
to know which is
remember
which.
what was what. Yeah.
But that's a good conversation.
He talks about how record or labels were like, oh, well, we have all these CDs, we have all this stuff, and they were like, well, records are doing fine, and they're like, no, send back all your records. We're just going to send y'all a shit ton of CDs. So suddenly they were just like, no, just get rid of those. Just toss them away. We want to push
this.
this.
The records,
yeah. And they didn't throw them away, but they just
pushed them aside, put them in a box somewhere.
They stored them. They recalled them pretty much and locked them up for a bit. Wow. And now they're selling through them. Now they're it's all coming back.
It's a big thing. People, why do you think that?
Well, like I said,
people just nostalgia. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
Well, tangibility, I think, is important
in a world where everything's so digital.
Exactly, but also it's hard to deny the audio quality of record. And on top of that, time has progressed. Record players have gotten better. Needles have gotten better. The receiving technology has gotten so good that it's a whole new experience. And
that's interesting.
And the art, people like big is coming back. You look at clothing. People are wearing larger stuff just aesthetically. Big is kind of becoming a thing again. But that's not this in general. Yeah. But I think that there's
a correlation.
Yes. Also, there's commitment in a record. You are committed to at least half an album. If you start it and you don't stop,
you got to pay for it.
Well, you just you're committed to listening to it. You can drop it into a track, but really, if you put a record on,
what's the point of that?
You're starting at the beginning.
What's the point of that?
Yeah. And in a world where the album is not the focus, we're in this strange gray area where not everybody is mixing for vinyl.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say
it's not even thought about, I don't think.
No, and that's the thing. I'm not going to say any of the bands that have done this way because I still happily own their records. I still happily put it on. But I can tell when I listen to it on a streaming platform versus it on the vinyl. I'm like, if they had just mixed this for the way vinyl is presented, this would have destroyed. There's one artist in particular. He's a digital artist. He uses a lot of plugins and computer elements and things like that.
VST types. Yeah.
But he uses a lot of natural instruments, and he's a very vocal person, and he's very expressive in his layers on vocals and things like that. And his mix is untouchable.
Yeah, that's nice.
And he remixed it for vinyl. And actually, shout out Grabbits. I realize I can say the name because it's a hype up statement. His album, oh God. All right, well, this is the first moment where I can't remember the name of things, so I have to look it up real quick. We're going to ask the computer here if it'll wake up because we let it go to sleep for too long. Y'all are seeing
the internet's there for a reason, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, and we get to, and again, this is the stuff you won't hear on the actual audio format.
Shout out YouTube.
Y'all are seeing me look at this way. It's like I'm talking into the mic. And so this audio still ends up on there. But the album is called Time Isn't Real. Time isn't real.
Which is true.
It's it's a construct. We can all agree on it. Everybody can agree on that. But this album is untouchable. It's not untouchable like it's the best one ever, but it exists in this realm. And to be able to like experience it on vinyl and have it be a different experience, I think that, not unlike this experience being different than the audio only. Giving different experiences only creates a reason to want it more. Alternate album covers is a reason to want it more.
I love alternate albums.
Yeah,
That's
like
great.
Re-releases, deluxe editions. Like, I think
record store day editions.
Yeah. Like, there's so much to be said in redoing. And some people will be like, oh, well, you're copping out. You're cashing in on the same thing over. But no, it's to acknowledge the different parts of the art.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You cut out a lot of the middleman when you just, I'm not saying digital is bad.
No.
Both is really good.
No, I love all of it.
You can use both at the same, I think it's very versatile to use both at the same time. You could do a lot of things.
You can't bring a record player with you to work. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You can bring a CD player, but that's technically digital.
Well, even then, you still look like a goofball when you're sitting there with your CD player and your binder of CDs.
You're listening to 311 on your CD player.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's happening? What's life?
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're into.
Right, shit.
Yeah, like if I saw somebody walk into my work tomorrow and they had a cassette player,
I'd be like, what are you listening to?
Yeah, exactly. That's the first. I wouldn't be like, what are you doing?
It has to be some mixtape of old punk bands from the late 70s, early 80s.
I would ask if I could hear it.
Yeah, I'd be
like I would just straight up.
I had a skate homie who's way older than me, and he, in high school, he was like, he saw that I was playing with tape recorders or tape players, and he's like, let me make you a mixtape. He gave me one. It's the shittiest sounding thing, but I still have it. It rules. It has so many punk bands that I had don't even know who they are. It's so great.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, hey, we're still doing an interview. Hey, there it is. We said we were totally not going to do that. No, I'm kidding.
I told you I was going to do that.
He 100% did. He 100% did.
I'm not a liar.
All right, let's get back into it, but let's focus this more on you and what you do. And we're going to start with the first jumping off question we've done since the beginning. How'd you pick your name?
Qwaigmane. I say dumb words. I'm dumb at talking sometimes. It's funny that I have a radio show or a podcast because I feel like I do not talk well. Who knows? I tried to say Craig one night. I was talking about some stupid TV show that I do not care about. I tried to say Craig a bunch of times, and I had drank in 40 ounces of Old English, which I highly recommend at least once in your life, if you're of age, of course.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were taped to me or whatever, but I chugged these motherfuckers, and I was saying some sort of story, and I kept not saying Craig White.
Case in point.
I've only had 3 beers and I'm doing the same thing. I kept saying Quaig instead of Craig, and my homie looked at me and was just like, yeah, that's what it is, Quaig. And it just kind of stuck. And, you kind of have to just
you got to roll with it.
You just have to accept certain things, and I accepted it.
Isn't the golden rule that you can't pick your own nickname? Isn't that
it certainly applies to me.
Yeah.
I definitely did not pick it. It came out of my own idiocracy. So, but hey, that's okay. If I can monetize it.
Yeah, well, it's definitely catchy. Every time anybody has mentioned your name ever, I've never been like, I'm sorry, what did you say? Yes, it's very...
That's cool. That's
very easy to pick out of a lineup. You know what I mean? You could just be like, oh yeah, Qwaigmane.
Right.
Qwaigmane.
Qwaigmane.
Yeah.
Hey.
In all fairness, everybody says Quag. So anytime anybody talks about you, it's always Quag.
Yeah.
But it's funnier knowing that the W is supposed to be an R.
Right?
Yeah. Now let's dive into a little bit more what you do, because you're a dude, you're a co-host, you're an entrepreneur. Let's go ahead and talk about your podcast first.
My podcast, I have a podcast called In Noise. It's with my co-host Vince, who owns a clothing company called In Game. Check him out, buy their t-shirts. And if you need t-shirts printed, he'll print them for you. We just have like a podcast where we talk about farts and beer. We get drunk. We don't get drunk. I usually only drink on Mondays just because of that podcast, because fuck it. But yeah, we just like drink a couple beers and just bullshit about life. We just ask each other how it's going. We're both fire signs, so we're both very spicy. We can just like go, we could go back on various topics, and I'm the one that gets us into sticky situations. But hey, that's what it is. I also am starting another podcast called Mute All Noise, where I interview musicians and playmakers, tastemakers, A&R type people like you who do radio shows. You're definitely going to be on it.
I'd be happy to.
Oh, I'm sure that's going to be great. That's the first official guest is booked. If not this coming week, next weekend, it's going to be great. Multiple angle podcasts like this, very similar.
I know, it's so far away.
Dude, it looks crazy.
Hey, I don't know if y'all know this. We're literally 17 feet away from each other.
But it looks like
For those of you listening, that's a lie.
Super close. But yeah, so I do the one podcast and I'm starting another podcast. It's fun. I love doing that. I used to have an old podcast back in the day that I did a very similar thing that didn't really go too far. Only did I think 10 or 11 episodes, but it was still pretty cool.
I mean, everybody's got to have. You got to start somewhere.
You got to start something, and it's just like, oh, okay, this doesn't work out, so I'm gonna do something else.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna ask you about your clothing
Clothing brand.
I'm gonna ask you about your clothing brand in just a moment. But first, I want to ask you about something called Pizza Pyramid.
Well, Pizza Pyramid is this thing that is my first endeavor. I started it in high school. It was a skate zine and an Instagram page that like reposted a bunch of people's stuff back when Instagram actually worked and you could like get followers. I built a decent following. It was like a couple thousand followers over like 2 years or something. It was like,
and that was back when Instagram those numbers were not like 40,000 was a big deal in comparison to like 2,000 then. And
I was like, I could totally do that, but it eventually became not viable, and everybody's attention span kind of deplenished. Mine specifically, and I wanted to do other things like music videos, so I was like, I need to stop doing this. But Pizza Pyramid was a zine, 12 issues. I had a podcast, 12 issues of the zine, just interviewed people chock full of other fart jokes, and I don't know. We interviewed rappers and skaters, and it was just a mishmash of stuff. I had no real direction.
And if y'all look under your chairs, you're going to find an early cup. No, I'm kidding. That's
shit. I have the masters.
We haven't adopted that Oprah technology yet, but we're working on it.
I just pull out.
Yeah, you're like, for everybody.
It's just an ad. The Truman Show ad. Yeah, so it was a skate zine. I don't know. I also hurt myself, so I stopped. I didn't stop skating. It's just I started skating less, and I moved away, so I wasn't around the people that I made it with. So I transferred that into Fuck Clout later on, which that energy is now transferred into All Noise, or some of it.
Hell yeah. Now, it's interesting to me because, this show's format is very much Q&A. It's very much like people sit down, we ask them some stuff, back before we were doing like music and radio and stuff like that. Like, it was always that. Y'all's show is more of like a lifestyle and discussion show. How do you deal with the because it's basically weekly. You took your first break. You took your first break.
Our first break.
Yeah, season two is real, y'all.
Just recorded it yesterday on a Wednesday. We usually don't do that. It's every Monday.
How do you deal with how do you deal with that? Like that's it. Because I have questions. Forward. Yeah, how do you? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off from there.
No,
how do you handle that? Like just telling the story of your life every week.
I don't know. It bugs me out sometimes. I spaz. I'm a spaz kid sometimes. So it's just like a couple of episodes, you can tell that I'm not really feeling it. But that's just life. That happens. I don't know. It's just my whole life is art. and it's kind of do or die. I was homeless for 7 months living in my car. So it's just like, after that, it's like, fuck, what else are you going to,
it changes you.
Like, I don't know what else to do. So it's like, I started the podcast when I was homeless, and my co-host wants to keep going. I want to keep going. People are into it. So I don't know. That's all that really matters. It's just the fucking passion, fire when you wake up. That's just what it is.
Can we dive into that a little bit more? I'm curious. What inspired you to start it? Like while you were homeless, what was your thought process to be like, I know I'm homeless, but also I want to get my words out there. Like what was the fuel? What was the moment?
What else is there to do?
I guess that's fair.
What the fuck? Just lay in my car. So it's just like, fuck it. And it's like, I get to go to his house and take a piss, take a shit. I can like charge my phone.
True.
And just like sit there and fucking smoke some weed with my friend. Oh, he doesn't smoke weed. Allegedly smoke weed, whatever. Fucking YouTube.
Jimmy's Jambox does not endorse any kind of drug use.
Yeah, I could just go in there and chill. I don't know. It's I was just trying to find things to do because it's like, where to go. So it's like, fuck it. I already want to do the podcast. You have to just like, even if you don't, you just have to do it. I just had to go out there and do it. I just had to start something, and I didn't know if it's going to continue or what the fuck was going to happen. My car has some problems, so I didn't know if my car was going to break down. I was just all sorts of shit, but just like, fuck it.
Yeah, no.
Just to keep anything moving forward, so I'm not too stagnant and just like too worried about the other shit, because things were looking up after a certain point, but
Yeah, I mean, I think being able to create is such a powerful tool because it's
I had to do something.
Yeah, exactly.
All I had was a laptop and a couple microphones. I couldn't go like screen print.
Yeah.
I couldn't go like sew stuff. I had to do something digitally.
Well, you know what they say, idle hands and such.
Fucks up countries and nations, bro.
Now, we've talked about your first endeavor. We kind of talked about some things. Who is somebody that does some of the things that you do that you like appreciate? Like, you don't have to like look up to them or be but who's somebody who like inspires you?
Inspiration comes from everything. I'm inspired by my mom. I'm inspired by the almighty creator, whoever the fuck that is, the person
or what
exactly. Whatever put me here, that's just like part of the reason why I wake up. But in the video realm, it's my business partner and friend Goldblum. He does the videos on the Fuck TV channel on YouTube. Go check that out. He goes super hard with like higher profile artists, and he snaps, and he's the best. So he's super inspirational. Podcast wise, I go ebbs and flows with various podcasts. Different people inspire me, but a big one is Shane Gillis' podcast, Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. Mm-hmm. I love that dude. He's super funny. I love how edgy he is. The topics, I don't know. It's just like, it's real shit. And there's other podcasts like that. I'm just bad at remembering. That's just like one. Another one I listen to is the Adam Friedland Show, which formerly known as Cumtown. It is what it is.
Understandable name change. A little bit difficult to brand that one.
Branding, I know a thing about branding. Fuck clout's kind of a hard thing to push on various people.
All the merch would be uncomfortable.
I have the merch, and it's very uncomfortable to wear.
Yep.
Shout out Cumtown. But honestly, every
hold on. Shout out Come Down.
I want to get the come boys on the podcast. That would be absolutely hilarious.
I'll co-host that one.
That'd be the best podcast ever.
Just to interrupt you real quick, we were talking about this a little bit off mic. I want to make sure this gets on mic. You should check out the We Might Be Drunk podcast by Mark Norman and Sam Morril. Y'all should check it out.
Big fan of Mark Norman. Mark Norman rules.
I'm a big fan of both of them, and I never knew they were best friends.
Wait, Sam...
Mark Norman and Sam Morril.
Or
Morril.
I'm trying to picture his face.
He's like tall, skinny. He kind of has a voice like
okay.
that.
I've definitely seen him in a couple of YouTube clips, for sure.
You've definitely. Yeah. I mean, super funny. His humor is like cynical, but cynical in the like kind of way. So it's like he's always got that inflection at the end. But this is not a talk about other stand-up comedians show. This is talking about you.
This is about me.
The Quag.
God damn it.
Now, let's talk about your setup a little bit. Let's dive into kind of the technology side of things, because, everybody does things so differently. And I know like your focus is more on the person side of things,
Right.
not so much the gear things.
It's because I'm poor.
I mean, that shit's expensive.
That's really what it is. It's because I'm poor. And the last time I tried to order something off of Sweetwater, for some reason they needed a double verification. And I don't want to give you. I don't know. It was weird. I just didn't. I don't know. Double verification. I bought the thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's not. I love Sweetwater actually. They're cool. But this is not the shit talking. But it's just like things are really expensive.
But tell us about your journey getting into the, like, if you met somebody who is just starting, what would you tell them?
What would I tell them? I would tell them that you can't record a podcast with 2 USB microphones.
You definitely can't.
Everybody thinks you can, and that's I thought that at the very beginning. Like, that's a valid thing.
Yeah.
Computers don't work like that. The microphones don't work like that.
Although, shout out to the Rode Go ME or the Go Me. That's it. Just everybody Google it. It's something kind of cool.
Can you double record with it?
It's interesting because you know how the Rode Go wireless, like the lavs are the 2 transmitters and the receiver.
Yeah.
The new one, it's a transmitter, so it's the mic, then like the body pack that it is, and then the receiver also has a built-in front-facing microphone. So if you're doing content creation where you're doing like a camera that's facing this way, that way,
Yeah.
you can put one on them and you have one on you. Oh. So they're really gearing it towards content creators. This was not supposed to be an unpaid new Rode product plug.
I started talking shit on Sweetwater, so I don't know. It is what it is.
Oh yeah, but like they just released a really cool line of things for new video content creators.
Cool.
Like, I wish
I
they had put it out sooner. I would have probably had that sooner. But like, for those of you trying to get into this kind of stuff early, like what we're doing here, and like, even like what he does and stuff, they have functional like single or 2 camera and like small versions of the Rodecaster.
If you can get something that does kind of like this, but on a smaller scale.
They can't see it. For those of
I'm
you,
going to point at it.
Yeah, for those of you,
you
at
don't
home,
need to see it.
For those of you at home, I use a Zoom F6. I don't gatekeep my stuff. I'll tell you anything. If you want to ask in the comments, I'll put it down there. I should probably start interacting with y'all anyways. But we don't keep that a secret. I use a Zoom F6.
That thing's amazing.
Universal Audio SD1s.
If you can find something kind of like that, that does. You need to look for something that can do as much as you can for as little. I just have a little, fuck, I don't even know the brand of it. It's not a Kai. It's just like a little 2-channel mixer that I found at the thrift store for $50. You can find them at pawn shops.
Is it Alesis?
It might be.
Is it like blue? Black with like blue aesthetic?
Yeah. I have 2 of them.
It's probably Alesis.
I have 2 of them. So I have one of them for my streaming setup, and then I have one for when me and Vince talk, but I also have a 12-channel mixer that I do for like interview stuff. But if you're just, you can even get like isn't a Scarlett like double XLR?
The 2i2 is 2 combination inputs, either 1/4 inch or XLR.
You just find something cheap like that. Like, they're not that expensive. Yeah. Like, and I just use like an Audio Technica. I don't know the model number.
It's just it's like an A4000.
It starts with an A.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
very
A4000.
basic. It's like $100. I use those Sony headphones with the MDR.
Yes, those 7506s.
Yes, those are amazing. They're $100, $99.
Yeah,
I need to order some more. They're very baseline audio. It's amazing. Just shit like that, and you can order a couple shitty stands off of Amazon for whatever.
I love his inflection of
it's like you can't even see the Rode. You can't even see the Rode stand, but you can get like a shitty one off of Amazon that makes a buzzing noise whenever you click it. Whatever. Yep. There's ways to do this without a lot of money. But microphones are expensive.
Yes.
$100 is $100 in this day and age. You know what I mean?
Well, it's so. First of all, I love everything you said because it's true. I think that we as people, not we, you and I as a creative, but like we as people, we put so much emphasis on, somebody's doing it at this much, so I have to do it at this much.
Right.
But engaging content sounds great on an iPhone microphone. You know what I mean? Like
And the camera's
interesting.
really good too.
Yeah. Well, even if you have like a GoPro 7, you know what I mean? Like if it's interesting to look at, people are going to be able to look past any kind of like quality. It's not to say you shouldn't strive to grow into that, but the practice should happen when nobody is listening.
Right.
Like if you if you put out one episode a week, that's 52 episodes in a year. That's 52 opportunities to practice so that as you get better and people start to listen to you and you've gotten comfortable, you've gotten over those rough attempts, then suddenly people are going to remember you for being good in the beginning. And then the quality jumps up and they're going to be like, oh my God. And then it just like you are creating a beneficial reason
You're planting
to enhance.
a seed.
Yeah, but all 4K doesn't make you not boring. That's what it comes down to.
Right. You don't need 4K.
No.
You can use a GoPro.
Yeah.
They're a couple $100.
It's true. I mean, I think that knowing how your equipment works, because like GoPros are great.
And how you use it, for sure.
Yeah, because like GoPros are great in well-lit rooms, in high movement areas, but they are not awesome in low light.
Yeah.
They're not awesome in like...
You can get a $70 set of 2 studio lights and combat that.
Yeah, and you don't have low light anymore.
Easy. You spend $70. It's, but it's almost $50. Like that's a good price range. You know?
Exactly. And I think that the presenting a thought out process will always translate well. Like if you buy $300 cameras and you're like changing up your angles and making it move and doing all this stuff, it's going to be cool. And people are going to want to see more. And they're going to want to not invest maybe fiscally, but invest their time.
Which time is the only thing you have.
Exactly.
Money's not real. Time is the only thing you have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
And that's just, that's just powerful. I think that's really cool.
That's great.
And I agree with you. I think
streamline it. My advice is streamline it as best as possible.
Yes.
It's going to be hard.
Well, get your process down.
Yeah, get it down and then try to streamline it. You're going to get frustrated. I'm a spaz. I get real frustrated when things don't fucking work out because I know exactly how it should work out and I know the plan. But like just, it's rough at the beginning, but figure out which equipment you want. You can get not the cheapest. Don't get
a $20 microphone.
Right. You don't want to get the cheapest things possible.
Make sure your microphone has an XLR plug.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
don't get a Yeti snowball because you can't even record multiple.
It's true. You cannot have 2 snowballers.
You cannot, man. You cannot have it. No, bro.
No.
It's not acceptable.
No double snowballing. No. Not in these parts.
Nope.
Oh man, I had such a fun thing I was going to ask, and then we got caught up on the snowball bits.
Yeah, sorry, bro.
Let's look to the future, shall we?
Future. I'm a future man. I don't think short term.
Oh well, then I have 2 questions for you. And actually, I'm just gonna pose this as like one total question.
Okay.
So let's look at your future goals. So a lot of people want to keep their stuff kind of quiet. A lot of people want to keep their stuff on the back burner. But let's look a little bigger than like, what's your next thing coming up? What is your 1-year plan, your 3-year plan, and possibly a 5-year plan?
Shit. 1-year plan. I'm trying to get music videos set up where I can be making half or a little bit more than half of income, hopefully, with music videos. I get close. It just depends on who's biting, who wants a music video. It fluctuates. Portland's a weird scene, to be honest. It's hard to... Maybe I don't sell... I think I don't sell myself enough. That's what it is.
Also, I think just to interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
There are heavy seasonal changes up here.
Yeah.
It's hard to record a music video when nobody can get to where you want to record a music video.
Nobody has a car.
In snow. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a thing, too.
I have a car. Because I need to transport stuff, but yeah.
But you also can't offer to pick up the people you're recording.
No. Unless I don't even know. I don't... Unless they're homies. I've done that.
Yeah.
I've done that handful of times.
The homies aren't people. They're homies.
Right. And they're also probably getting a discount anyway.
True.
You know, it is what it is.
Wait, you're going to discount them and use your own guy? No, I'm kidding.
No,
support the homies.
You're completely right, though.
Support the homies.
People don't realize what it takes to do stuff like this you spend your time, your money to do stuff like this. I spend my time and money to invest in my equipment and do all this shit. So yeah, I lived in my car for 7 months. So yeah, it's part of the gig.
Yeah.
What was the question? What was the actual question?
Oh no!
Excuse
Oh,
me.
future goals. Sorry,
Future goal.
like
Okay,
1 year, 3 year, 5 years.
Okay,
So 1 year plan.
Music videos. I'm trying to get that going. 3 years is a lot more developing the brand development. It's all development, long term. I don't care. Like, I'm an impatient person. I'm a very, very, very impatient person, but I think long term because short term shit never gets you anywhere. Yeah, you can go get fucked up. You can go do drugs. You can go fucking spend a bunch of money. You can go waste time for short term satisfaction. I'm looking for legacy type shit.
Ooh, powerful, powerful.
Even if I don't have kids, but you need to know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
What's the point of being a human and being on this earth if you're not like stamping something?
Exactly.
Even if it's like learning a skill or a trade or like whatever the fuck it is. So 3 years development, 5 years, hopefully I have things developed where I have like a network of podcasting, live footage. I would like to employ people to shoot live footage, to do podcast shows, to do exclusive Patreon type stuff, to host shows, and to help me screen print shit. But I don't make enough money to employ people. It's a tricky thing, but that's definitely like a 5 year type deal.
I was listening to Cato on the Track. Shout out Cato.
Yep.
And he was talking about how when it comes to doing certain things, like you're always going to be doing things alone at first
for a long time.
But when you find if you find somebody,
it's a matter of if.
Yeah. If you find somebody who just like instantly fucks with your shit, like it's just like they see the potential. Even if they don't do anything, bring them on. See what they see.
Right.
See if they can grow into
For
something
sure.
because there's that passion.
Yeah.
Like I first video episode, I'm gonna shout out my main man Cameron. He's the audio engineer for the show. He is the second half. He's got so much personality, so much energy. He allows me to think out loud, and he brings ideas to the table. Like so much of what happens now, so much everything y'all hear mix wise. So if you ever hear anything messed up, it was no, I'm kidding. shout out Cameron again. There's something to be said in it, but I think that as long as you're 100% invested, because people can smell
you have
genuine.
To be 100% invested.
If you're giving 100%, game recognized game.
Right.
Like, shout out Riley from Boondocks. And I think that it won't show up today. It won't show up tomorrow. I'm being an Instagram
in 5
post.
years.
It'll show up at the moment it matters.
Because everything... I don't know if things are destined to be what it is. I'm a very spiritual person, so I don't know if things are destined to be what it is, or I don't know if you have free will regardless of what it is. I work on law of assumption. I just assume things are going to happen at when they're going to happen, and when they happen, I'm grateful and like happy. I'm not like crazy surprised. I know shit's going to happen. It just takes time. It's just like it's I don't know the original point. I'm going off on a tangent, but it's just like, I don't know. Honestly, just assume things are going to happen.
Yeah. I'm going to share a fun thought with you because I think you'll appreciate this. I used to work with a guy named Dragan. Dragan. He was where was he from?
Somewhere over there.
Yeah, somewhere
Sounds
over
like
there.
it. Yeah.
I can't remember where, but it like what was the place that like it was something and then it wasn't something?
I feel like that's a lot of books.
Well, there was somewhere that like it was a big thing back in the day, but I can't remember.
Bosnia?
No.
Bosnia is still a thing.
It was like Yugoslavia originally, and it became something else. Like, man, I
don't know too much about.
I didn't pay attention in history, y'all. I'm
I love
so
history,
sorry,
but I didn't.
Please, whoever sees this, put it in the comments, and we'll try to edit it over. He would always say that. Or wait, let me backtrack. We would always be like, dude, because it worked at Guitar Center. You know, shout out Guitar Center. Shout out Guitar Center. I was there for a long time. They treated me well as they could. But we would always be like, dude, how did you like, because he would always just have like people buying a bunch of stuff. And I mean, granted, the second somebody buying a bunch of stuff got to talk to him, they were lucky because he was so knowledgeable, so passionate. He would sell, if somebody walked in asking for $1,000 thing, and they only needed $100 thing, he would sell them the $100 thing. Like his conscience wouldn't let him try and fool somebody out of their stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
As long as he wouldn't like undersell people on purpose, but he would always try to make sure they left with what they needed.
Right.
And so, you know, people would always walk up to him and be like, dude,
that's a respectable man right there.
And they'd be like, dude, how did you get so lucky? How did you get so lucky? And he's like, you have to prepare to be lucky. Like you can't know you're gonna be. Right. But if you're always on, you're always ready, you're always set up. If you're expecting success, you will gain success.
That's a part of the assumption. It's a lot of work. It's not just assuming things are happening. It's a lot of preparing and working. And that work prepares you for the thing. There's a quote about it, right? Like, whatever the fucking quote is, you prepare for that like moment.
Isn't it this may not be the right one, but I think it's close. Whether you think you can or you think you can, or whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the one I'm thinking of, but yeah, that's very valid. Like, there's a point where you're faced with a moment where you're like, oh, I've been like working on this for like, and it's kind of like with the podcast stuff is like, I've been doing this for like a handful of years. So I'm at a point where it's like, well, it's not do or die, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I kind of reached that point where it's just like, well, I should use everything that I've learned to this point to go super hard.
Yeah.
And just do the best. And I know it's going to pan out and do well.
Hell yeah.
Right. I hope other people can achieve that as well, because
totally.
They deserve to achieve that if you put in the work.
I think people sometimes don't appreciate that creativity can come in the form of the journey and not the destination.
For sure.
You know, not trying to eat, pray, love the shit out of my walls here. But yeah, I think that the people who love the process, like I remember the moment I decided that I wanted to do this forever. Surprise, y'all. This is going to be many, many years. But it was like 2:30 in the morning on like a Tuesday going into Wednesday.
When you least expect it.
Yeah, and like something wasn't going right, and I had to like start over, and I was still like figuring out the sound for the show. It was like 60 or 70 episodes in. It was so long ago. And in my head, I was just like, all these things that are happening right now are the worst. Like on paper, this is something that I should hate.
Right.
But I don't. Nope. Like I acknowledge the fact that the situation was so shitty, but my only thought process was get it done.
Right.
Like put it out, like make it happen. Like,
gotta do.
Yeah. Like it wasn't even, I'm just not gonna, like, it's not even screw it all. No, it's just, there is no if or. It's just get it done. Just get it done.
That's kind of how I live my life.
Yeah.
That is what it is. It is do or die, because that's just life in general. So I fully agree with that. That's how I look at just life in general, artistic endeavors, my work, whatever. It's just like go super hard.
Yeah.
As hard as you can within your human body constraints.
Is it just because we're on a bit about sayings already, isn't there a saying that if you shoot for the moon and you miss, you still land in the stars?
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah. You're up there.
Yeah.
Dude, second place it's not first place. You want to be number one, but it's still good. Second place is still good.
Yeah. I mean,
you're close by.
Yeah.
You're chilling.
Also, I think it's weird that so many things get rated. You know what I mean? Like it's weird how there's a number one anything just based off of total listen. Like that we have to, because somebody who has 100 million plays on Spotify can be equally as passionate as somebody who has 100 plays on Spotify.
Right.
We put so much emphasis on competitive element by proxy. Like, I'm not trying to get more listens than you. I'm not trying to get more viewers than you.
Right.
I'm not trying to have more than you. You do.
And vice versa.
Yeah, you do what I do. I do what you do.
Yeah.
But like, I wanted you on the show because I am just like, I think what you do is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's
appreciate that.
It's not the same as what I do. We are two different people doing two different things, and everybody can experience them for two different reasons. They don't have to pick
at their own accord too.
Yeah.
They can at their own pace. For
and
sure.
we are so lucky to be able to put stuff out there now that is available in the same, because everybody's like, oh, now that everything's so available, it's saturated. But while that's true, hold on, let me finish this out because it's fun.
For sure.
While that's true, there is a lot out there. Back in the day, you had to do it by word of mouth. You had to tell people about your shit. You had to get it out there. You had to stand on corners. Yeah. Now there's so much stuff out there that you have to do the same thing. You have to go out there.
Yeah.
You have to tell people about your stuff. The way that you get stuff out now.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. Is doing the same thing as back in the day.
Just in a digital platform.
Well, it is still in a tangible platform.
Yeah. You still have to tell. I mean, I tell people, Master P is one of my inspirations, and he fucking made millions selling. Same with DJ Screw. DJ Screw is the same, on the same level. They made millions just selling fucking cassettes out their back door, like out the trunk. Like, that's, it's a different time. It was the 90s. It was the 80s. Like, it is what it is, but you do have to do that in a different way this day and age. Yeah. And word of mouth is still very valid.
No, that intangible.
Because it's personal.
Yeah.
When you talk to somebody, you're putting energy to them. It's push or pull, and you're giving them an opinion. You're giving them a thing. You're giving them a point of view, and that's so special. That's something you can't do with the internet, with AI, with fucking the whole slew. Like, it's crazy. The connection of human to human. And the podcast is really good for that, because we can sit here and just talk about
the video format is it really opens up something.
It amps it up. Yeah, that's
and
really
for
special.
those of you listening, we still appreciate you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
because there's truck drivers and there's people at
work, people in their commute.
Yeah,
don't watch YouTube and drive.
Yes, don't watch YouTube and drive.
Don't look at YouTube and drive.
You can listen
to YouTube, but don't look at YouTube.
You're a truck driver. Yeah, you can listen to stuff for show. But like, if you're even kitchen workers, like, you put on a podcast and you just fucking smoke cigarettes and make burgers. It is what it is.
So when I'm at work, I switch between both. Like I have like 2 or 3 podcasts that I listen to regularly. Like, I don't have a ton, because I didn't really. This might be breaking news for a lot of you. I never listened to podcasts up until 3 months into my show.
Interesting.
Like, I had never.
How long have you been doing your show?
June 2nd. So the Friday before this episode. So this comes out on the 6th. So 4 days ago was my 1 year.
Nice.
Yep.
Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, thanks for listening, y'all.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. And by the time this came out, we will have just done the Seattle tour.
Yep.
Like, that was a big endeavor.
Yeah.
And, it hasn't happened yet, y'all. I'm giving you the insider baseball that these things happen ahead of time because we're still learning how to do all this stuff in real time all the time. But I can't, just from the conversations I've been having with people so far, by the time y'all hear this, by the time y'all hear this, the event will have happened, but I can't tell you what was going on for it yet, because I don't know what promotion I've done yet. But we have like locations picked out. We have people picked out. Like, it's a production.
Nice.
And as time has progressed, because I have to interact with them much more than I have to interact with, like, you or somebody comes over that's local.
A lot more energy put into it.
Yeah, because I have to make sure that, because if I'm going up there, I need to make it worth my time. I got to make it, like, not worth my time. Like,
is expensive.
Well, yeah, like, not even worth my time in the sense of like, oh, you guys are understanding that I'm like, no, like, I want to make it as much as possible. I want, not worth my time. I want to fill up as much of my time. I want to catch as many stories.
You want to make it as best as possible.
Well, I also want to know if I can do
what you're setting out to do.
Yeah, I want to know if I can do 5 interviews in 12 hours. Like that's powerful. That is an endeavor. Right now,
That's
it's
confidence too.
Well, right now it's translating to like 6 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, just because we got a beautiful opportunity. Shout out the Seattle Drum School. Shout out the lab at 1010.
I've been there.
Yeah,
That's Lord Lawrence.
Yo, shout out Lord Lawrence.
I went on tour with Lord Lawrence. It was one of the best experiences ever. That was the Seattle show. It was the Seattle Drum School. That place rules.
He was actually who got me in touch with them.
Oh, amazing. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
man. Shout out Lord Lawrence.
Shout out Lord Lawrence.
That's one of my favorite people ever, man. I love you so much. He very big things to come with him. He's amazing.
Yeah. Delightful human being.
He's amazing. He just got off his second tour, the Mini May tour.
Oh.
He went to California and Las Vegas. Very good.
And up to Seattle.
And,
he went up to he started in Seattle, went down and came back up and closed out his tour in the hometown of Portland.
Mano Oculta.
Yeah.
And he's going back to Seattle on Saturday.
Yep. Of course he is.
He's a workhorse, man. Shout out Lord Lawrence. Buy his merch.
He puts in the work.
Oh, he's the best.
Like there's so many capable people and talented people in this area.
He's the best.
But that man grinds. It's impressive. Like even when he's not performing, he's present.
Yes.
So one more time, shout out Lord Lawrence.
Shout out Lord Lawrence. I love you, bro. You know I love you.
Now we're gonna segue back into questions for a little bit. I know y'all thought that the interview was over and this became a hang, but this is just two intellectuals being intellectual. If you could work with any, and we're gonna span this out. Usually I narrow it down a little bit, but if you could work with any one person on a project that's like in your scope, so you can't be like, oh well, I would love to do polka dancing, unless you do that, and that just did not come up yet, but. If you could work with any one person, whether it be, podcast related, music video related, like clothing brand and promotion and like if you could make a lineup of clothes, if you could work with any one person that's in the realm of all the things you do, who would it be?
I don't know. That would leave me thinking and guessing a lot and taking too long, but why not Nate? Shout out to homie Nate who shoots for Lord Lawrence. I've been wanting to shoot something with him for a while, and he actually asked me to shoot something in September, so that is actually happening. So making the dreams come true. Probably Nate. He's really good. He's also a fellow Black Magic user. Shout out DaVinci Resolve. And probably Nate. I don't know. I'm very tunnel vision right now, to be completely honest. I'm very I try not to absorb too much outside forces. I like to be inspired, but I don't want to be too influenced by various people. And maybe that at some point that is a bit of a shooting in the foot type of deal. But I don't know. Nate, he rules. He's a great videographer. I would love to work with Goldblum, but he lives in LA right now, but he kind of half lives in his car and he drives around. He's a crazy man like I am, so he's all over the place. But that will happen in the future.
I mean, I think it's cool that your person to aspire to work with is somebody that exists in the same space as you.
No, he's my homie.
Yeah,
I can call him up. I got his phone number.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't care about clout. I don't care about
I think there's a clothing brand that you might be attached to that it implies your opinion pretty regular, pretty obviously.
You should send me a link to it. I don't care about I just want to work with people that do cool things.
I think there's something to. I got to start writing down the names of people who say things.
I do too, to be completely honest.
But this may have been Cato again because he just intellectual. Shout out Cato. There's. Everybody wants to work with. Oh, actually, it 100% was Cato because I remember the whole thing now. Everybody always wants to work with bigger, better, powerful, and that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
progression.
If I were a rap artist, I would want to work with Lil Wayne, regardless of your stance on him.
Come on,
he is just dude. He's powerful.
Goat, bro.
He's powerful. It's just his ability.
Weezy F baby.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
Of course.
But Cato is saying that there's a power in working with the people that are on your level or either a step below or step above metaphorically because there are no steps.
The spectrum, for sure.
But for working with the people that are closest to you because they are tomorrow. The people who are already accomplished, they are now. They were you then and are them now. So if you're working with the people that are around you, the old saying goes, because that seems to be the theme all of a sudden, a rising tide raises all boats.
Yes.
And if you work with the people that are around you, you could potentially bring out ideas they didn't have, or like things they didn't know they could do, or they may be like, hey, I don't really like tell people about this, but I can do this. Or they just may also be in the same lane of effort. And if you find the people who are doing the things of tomorrow and you're in on that, then suddenly you're not somebody who worked with a famous person. You're a pioneer. You are on the forefront, the precipice of creation. Like, would you want to be remembered as that guy who worked with that one guy, or would you want to be remembered as the guy who invented and made
and elevated him and everybody
and
elevated everybody around them while doing it?
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, how shitty would it be if you did cool stuff and everybody liked you? What a tough life that would be. Oh, darn. Everybody was like, yo, I want to vibe with this person and they do cool stuff.
Right.
The worst.
Oh man, that's the worst case scenario.
Yeah, like I would hate to have a good time and do cool stuff. I don't understand it.
Right.
Now, this is kind of an interesting one, because usually I ask people, like, if they could perform at any one venue, where would it be? But
CBGBs.
Okay. Well, there we go. I didn't even get to modify the question for him.
I would perform, but CBGBs.
Well, my question was going to be, if you could expand your show into a bigger platform, into a bigger space, like because like, there are people with like content creator houses where they're just mansions they rent. There are people who like car people who start out on their front yard and then go into like this well-lit, crazy giant garage. Like, like what is is there a ceiling for like your visual setting? Or like,
yeah, I mean, maybe for the set of the podcast.
That's what I said. Like, what's the biggest growth, like, visually and aesthetically?
Well, visually, aesthetically is multiple sets, and that requires a big warehouse of sorts.
And by multiple sets, do you mean like
for different shows?
Okay. So like, you'd have like,
all
like
noise, in noise. Somebody want to do like a cooking show.
Gotcha.
Different sets. So you could probably fit a handful of them in a warehouse type deal.
Well, would you consider just using a similar like medium space and just rotating out the sets themselves?
Yeah.
So like, have your newscaster desk for your sports stuff, have your like couch for your hang.
In like a circle or like some sort of octagon.
I was thinking like between.
You can, like, move the camera around. It's like different chunks of one room.
Oh, I was thinking more like in between filming, just take away one thing, put in the next thing.
I'm completely
tablecloths are a fucking magical thing.
I agree, and that's a very DIY way to do it. And the podcasts are very DIY orientated, so why not make it have that aesthetic? So yeah, I'm completely open to that.
True. All right, let's start closing this up.
Yeah,
we're gonna wrap it up soon.
I'm sweaty. I gotta take a piss. Dude, that's podcasting.
Y'all, I was gonna wait till the very end, but the reality is it's hot as shit in this room.
And I gotta pee.
I'm working on just funneling out the heat.
And just wait till you get some professional lighting in here. It's gonna be even worse.
Well, LEDs don't get as hot as you think.
Yeah,
but also the room's so small.
Right. And directly on you. This is a set. Bro.
What are you talking?
This is a big ass set.
Oh. No, yeah. What do you have coming up in the future? Like, this episode airs on June 6th. So what comes after that?
Fuck, man. June 6th. I'm bad at remembering things. I tell people yes.
Perfect. Big things are coming, y'all. By the time this episode comes out, there'll be some big things.
There'll be things. Things are happening this month. I got a couple shows I'm going to do pop-up stuff at, but nothing really too serious. I'm just hoping that there's going to be a lot of pop-up opportunities downtown or within the city limits, because last summer there was a lot, but I'm really hoping things are kind of fizzling. Things have fizzled out a little bit in the fashion scene. I don't even know what to call it, but hopefully more pop-up stuff. I'm just trying to take any live show, any
Hell yeah.
markets.
Well, and y'all, he doesn't even know what this means yet, but there's for the big thing coming soon for the next installment and experience for Jimmy's Jambox. There's going to be some inclusiveness that the old Quag is going to be in on. Like,
be prepared.
Yeah.
Be prepared.
I purposely waited until after this interview to tell him so that he wouldn't have it on the forefront during. But there's big stuff coming and he's going to be in on it.
All right. I love big things.
How can people connect with you? Like, give us all your ats, give us all your links, give us all your datas. Like, how do they find out more?
You can find me at Qwaigmane on Instagram. I have a Twitter. I don't use it. You don't need to go follow it. You can if you want. I don't know. Twitter kind of sucks. Instagram, fuck Facebook. But Instagram, go find me on Instagram at Qwaigmane. You could find the Fuck Clout Instagram at fuck.clout on Instagram.
FUQ?
FUQ, not FUCK. I don't think Instagram would allow that.
No. Also, .CLOUT?
Yes.
Yes.
And all noise, it's all_noise. Just look up all noise. You'll see it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm on it.
Pull it
I'm
up
on
for
it.
me.
This is real time shit, y'all.
I had to use a underscore for it because I used a dot in the fuck clout one. I think it would be weird to use a dot. Maybe not. I don't know. That's me just like overthinking. But we have a TikTok.
Mute underscore all noise.
Mute underscore all noise. There we go.
Yep.
Check that out. I mostly just use Instagram. That's the best way of getting a hold of me. My email and contact information is in my link tree, link in bio. Peep that out. YouTube, All Noise Media. That's YouTube and Instagram are my two big platforms.
Hell yeah. And he's got some cool stuff on there, y'all. There's so many interesting things just already attached in it. I try to do a little homework on everybody before they come in just to make sure I'm asking some cool questions. And there was definitely a moment in time where I forgot I was supposed to be like paying attention to like think of things to say, and I was just
that's cool.
I was listening to it. Yeah, it's so easy to make a lifestyle podcast,
right?
But it's hard to be interesting in that respect because you just kind of have to
you have to have some sort of personality.
Yeah, you have to be interesting.
You have to attach that personality to
exactly.
it.
And I think that especially with the way
that
exactly,
sure.
Especially with the way you two like interact together, I think that there's a dynamic, a range. Also, his co-host sounds like somebody, and I can't think of who it is. Put it in the comments.
Check out the Noise podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, make sure to go listen to all the episodes
and
so you
Spotify.
get a perfect example of what I'm talking about. But listen to his co-host voice, Vinny, correct?
Vincent.
Vincent.
Vince, sorry.
Yeah,
Vince.
yeah. Shout out. What did he say in episode 11? Oh, no, I got rid of the page that I had here. Shout out Salvador Vinny.
Oh, my God. You were there for it.
But just, there's just, man, I even forgot where I was going with that. But, he sounds like somebody. And he sounds like,
I want to know.
Yeah, like, go watch all of their episodes. And when you're done, put it in the comment on this video who he sound like. Because it's going to bug me forever and ever. So I need to know. I went away from all my, y'all. Sometimes I need things in front of me to remember stuff.
Hey, man, we're an hour in. The shit gets weird an hour into the podcast.
Exactly.
Man.
We are actually an hour and 9 minutes. It's fun knowing how long you're doing this stuff for sometimes.
I can see it. It's great. I actually know kind of what I'm looking at, too.
Oh, true. Yeah. For those of you that can't see what's happening here, there's stuff happening here. Yeah, there's a little bit of movie magic in the space between the cameras. But who doesn't like breaking the fourth wall? Am I right? Maybe one day y'all get to see more. But for now, we're going to go ahead and close things up. But before we do, because there's one last question, but before we do, this is your opportunity for shout outs, plugs, what have yous. Just
damn. Hey, shout out my mom. Rest in peace to my mom. Love you. Shout out my dad too. Shout out the creator above, whatever that is, whatever it is, whatever they is, whatever, man. Shout out Lord Lawrence, for real though. Like, love that dude. He was looking out for me when nobody else was looking out for me. Love that dude. Shout out everybody in my life who like makes stuff around me. It's what keeps me going. Shout out my roommates. They fucking lit. They will be on this show. I guarantee you. Z Smoke.
Yep. Shout out Z Smoke.
Fuck, man. Shout out all the homies. Shout out Black Lung, Zuko at Black Lung. Shout out Grit Boy. Shout out Cat Scan. Shout out Vincent is Sad. Yeah, all the homies, man.
The list always goes on.
It keeps going. I honestly, I'm thinking about taking a piss. But
well, we're closing up, but we got one last question.
Yeah, lay it on me, man.
And I'm definitely very curious about this one.
Yeah.
Even though we don't do the music format anymore, and I can't put it at the end, I'm still gonna ask, what is your guilty pleasure song?
Guilty pleasure song?
Yep.
It's just one of those days when you don't want to. It's not really. That's a meme.
Also, somebody already picked a Limp Bizkit song.
Oh, that's okay. That's a pretty obvious one. Blink-182. No. Guilty pleasure. I don't really have one. I'm running up that hill. That Kate Bush song is pretty lit. I don't really have one. I treat all songs equally. I treat Limp Bizkit the same as
Adele.
I don't listen.
Let me rephrase it differently.
Yeah,
then. What's a song that people
live
are like
free in my head, or
like what's a song that like if people are like ugh, but you just get so hyped to, like the Baby Shark of it all.
Oh my god, the fucking Lud Men at Work D&B remix. It's a really good song. I advise you to check it out. It's not really a guilty pleasure, but it lives rent free in my head. Yeah, look that shit up. Luude. What's that one Men at Work song? Laying down under.
Oh, I come from a land down. Yeah, so it's a D&B. Hey.
It's not really a guilty pleasure. I think Men at Work is a really good.
I mean,
really
that's
good. They rule. It's an interesting.
That is a great. So I think just since we're doing video and since he has a piece so bad, I'm going to keep this going a little longer. When I ask the guilty pleasure question, I don't mean one you feel guilty about. I'm talking about that like the fun.
Make everybody else feel bad when you play it.
The one that would be like people would be surprised to know. Because you spent a majority of the episode being like, yeah, I listen to punk, I listen to metal.
I'm a hardcore kid. I listen to hardcore. I'm an aggressive person.
So
I mean, Men at Work, Talking Heads, I don't know if that's a guilty pleasure. I love Talking Heads.
I think I'm going to start rephrasing the question to what song would people be surprised to know you love? And I'm going to change the question after this. So by the time y'all have seen this, I will have asked a handful of other people it. But what, like, I mean, you've already said a million ones. So
yeah, I don't think people are too surprised my music choices. I think people are like, okay, that's not too crazy that he said that, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, hey, honestly, I love that the most because that is
versatile.
That's kind of like what I do as well. I get like
I love it all.
There's no music I won't listen to. You know what I mean? I listen to like 14 different albums today.
I don't like just super poppy stuff, super poppy stuff, but pop music's still cool. I like all sorts of music.
There's cool stuff everywhere.
Right.
There's cool stuff everywhere. I think
agree.
that the dedication, like we're saying in the beginning,
what you put into it.
Yeah. Right. What you put in is what you get out.
I agree.
All right. Y'all, we did it. I can't believe it. It finally happened. In one take. Wow. There were definitely no goofs or mess ups or mistakes. We did this first try. The second we hit record, it's like 2 p.m. We started this so early. It definitely didn't go super late. And you're not going to get these kind of long-winded explanations after, but I want to put it at the end of this first one because you know what? This is a moment. Like I'm going to break formate. I'm going to break foundation just for this one moment to be caught on camera before I never do it again so that we can stick to branding. But this is awesome. This is so exciting. Like
this has been great.
Just the experience, like being able to, because y'all, I can kind of like see how it's going to be when y'all see it, and it just,
it's amazing. It's beautiful.
This is so much fun, and I mean, just phenomenal guest. Thank you so much for joining. Hands down, one of the best guests we've ever had on video. I can't stress it, and just one of the best guests we've ever had, as always.
This is great.
I thank you so much for coming. This has been a very exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box.
Hell yeah.
I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Qwaigmane.
And we're signing off.
Cheers.